We've entered
it
the
shouldn't be.
Jake section of
It
the
shouldn't
pod.
be a surprise, but these next two albums are albums that I've been hyping up all year.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about Hot Milk's debut album, A Call to the Void.
Jake, before we get started, I really, really want you to guess which song is my favorite. I think it's pretty obvious.
Over Your Dead Body?
Yeah.
Just instantly.
Yeah. That checks out. That checks out all right.
Jake knows me.
You're not alone. One of my best friends listened to this as well. It's right up his alley, and that was his as well.
So, Derek, I know that you came into this album not having very high expectations, and from what I understand, you came out pleasantly surprised.
There is not a song on here that I don't really like besides Alice Cooper's Pool House.
I was about to say Alice Cooper's Pool House.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room first, which is very clearly Alice Cooper's Pool House. I think it's a fine song. It's very reminiscent to older Hot Milk material back when they were just a more traditional pop punk band. It's goofy, it's silly, it's British.
The song is okay. It's the fucking skit at the end goes on way too long.
What, with Alice Cooper? I'm pretty sure that is Alice Cooper.
Yeah, I understand that is Alice Cooper, but
yeah,
I don't care.
Here's the thing. I think the skit works because you go through that skit and then you enter a song called Zoned Out, and that skit almost zones you out of the album. And it works
Bro's
in an
trying to
ironic
turn
way.
something he doesn't like into a concept. That's crazy.
I think it works. And just the way that you go into the skit and the way that Zoned Out just immediately starts. You get right into the lyrics and the instrumentation. There isn't a build into the first riff or verse or anything. It's just right into it. It's a perfect transition, I think, as silly as the skit is.
You guys are tripping. I like the skit. I just didn't like the song.
I like
We're in
both
Discord.
songs.
We're in Discord over this.
True. So, with that, is there anything else we want to talk about with Alice Cooper's Pool House? Or are we good to talk about the rest of the album now?
Rest of the album for sure.
I don't know. You run this train.
Real. He is the conductor of the Hot Milk Supremacy.
Yes.
Train.
All right, so Jacob's internet cut out real quick. Let's get back into the discussion of this Hot Milk album. Derek, I want to hear your thoughts first before I go into my spiel, because I want to let you air anything that I will probably say for you.
Okay, yeah, perfect. This is my most listened to album of this month, I think. That goes this
Agreed.
probably and then Hail the Sun. Yeah, I know you agree. That has been a well documented and established.
Yes, very, very well documented.
I think that this is easily one of, if not the most fun albums I've heard all year.
That is a comparison I wanted to make is Stand Atlantic, actually.
Yeah. I actually thought, didn't they tour together? Am I tripping?
It might have.
I feel like they did at one point. Or no, it's just because the vocalist is dating the other vocalist. That's what it is.
What?
Yeah, the vocalist of Hot Milk is dating the vocalist of Stand Atlantic. Nice little crossover. It's not the most complex listen, but it doesn't try to be, which means that you can just kind of take it for what it is, and what it is a really fun pop rock, pop punk, whatever album. I kind of treat Welcome to the and Horror Show as the designated opener rather than just Welcome to the, and I think that is a great opener.
Yeah,
Forget Me Not is great, right? Welcome to don't bring that up when we're talking about a good album. I don't know.
Excuse you.
Horror Show, Welcome to the starts out with there's a call to the void screaming, when will you join? And then not to jump too far, but the final words of this album is there's a call to the void in Forget Me Not as well. So it goes full circle, which I think is really cool. I also think that Horror Show, as the quote, the main opening track, so to say, because Welcome to that is just basically an interlude. Horror Show being the opening track and then ending with a breakdown of Welcome to the Show, I think really sets up the fun that this album is going to set you up for. And then it's also just like setting you up for like, hey, this is Hot Milk. Welcome to the show, you know? Like Horror Show is very much a Hot Milk song, and it shows you like how diverse this band can be. And you're just gonna get more of that throughout the rest of the album. Anyway, continue.
I guess something that I always find interesting about albums like this is how well they work as an album without a concept or cohesion. Like I at least maybe Jake, you interpreted something different. For me, I don't see a big overarching concept across every song on this album. But again, at the same time, I think that would be.
I think the themes are just very loose.
Yeah, for sure. But despite that, it works all really well as an album, and I think for me, Zoned Out is the highlight. I think that's my favorite song on here by far.
Interesting. All right.
Probably Zoned Out, and then Over Your Dead Body, and then Bloodstream, maybe. I think honestly the most surprising part of all this was, I don't remember what song it is. Maybe it's Over Your Dead Body. It's that or Party on My Deathbed, I think. There were like, the male vocalist did like uncleans.
Yeah, Jim went wild on the harsh vocals and Over Your Dead Body on that breakdown.
Jim went fucking crazy, bro.
And then you get like a little bit, you did like a bit of strings out of the breakdown too. It's just so sick.
It adds another layer, like how we were talking about with what we wanted out of Caskets earlier or whatever. Like, I feel like this is the same sort of thing. Like I wanted a little bit of that variation very prominently to give me and like bring me back into the album. I think this did that perfectly.
There are no two songs on here that sound the same.
No, and it's way better off for it. Honestly, this is my number 11 album right now, and the only thing holding it back is Alice Cooper's Pool House. Also, not a sentence I'd say in discussion to anything ever, but yeah, I don't know. Everything here, if you take that song out, and like not even that it's necessarily a bad song, it's not my cup of tea, and I appreciate it being what it is. It's just I don't feel the rest of the album is quirky enough to make it not stand out in a average to bad way. But overall, I mean, this is just incredible stuff, and I said I was
very happy to hear that.
Right? I mean, this has been one of those Jake and/or Justin eggs that has been waiting to hatch for me, and I'm glad that it finally clicked.
All right, so
all right, big boy.
This album is absolutely incredible. I think the loose theme of this album being A Call to the Void as the name of the album is just it's just willing to be open about things that you are thinking about. It doesn't always have to be happy or sad. It can just be like this album touches on everything and just letting it out. And I think that really just encapsulates Hot Milk. They are like, they have such an infectious energy that can convey both like the silly fun side of them in a song like Alice Cooper's Pool House. And you can also touch on that really deep, dark, emotionally sad place in songs like Breathing Underwater and Forget Me Not. And I think that's what A Call to the Void is. It's just a call to anyone out there who can relate to feeling, as vague as that sounds. And I think they absolutely fucking nailed it. I think, as I already said, I think Horror Show is an incredible opener. The way that the instruments build in, you get a sick bass lick in the second verse. Party on My Deathbed is that just infectious Hot Milk energy to a T. Bloodstream leans more into the poppier EDM side, which we touched on as a single during our July recap, and I think it's incredible. What I think is the most amazing thing about this album is the fact that I came into this album expecting the singles to be some of my favorites, and I think the stretch of Over Your Dead Body to the end of the album is maybe 5 of my 6 favorite songs on this album. When I was already as high as I was on the singles for this album, to be as blown away as I am with the back half of this album is a rare thing. I think of like some of my favorite albums of past years. think like I don't know, like a Memphis Mayfire. I mean, admittedly, I was very, very pleased with The Fight Within as a closer, but like we already knew most of the songs on that album. I'm trying to think of a better example of a song of an album that like I really enjoyed, but like but like Future Palace from last year. That's a good example. Songs like Paradise and Flames and Dead Inside, the singles, absolutely incredible. And there were some standouts as non-singles, like Locked. But the last few songs on that album of like Loco Loco and Fever are not anything special in comparison to the singles. This Hot Milk album nails the non-singles in a way that really struck with me. Zoned Out, I think, is a perfect transition out of Alice Cooper's Pool House. I mean, you're talking about Alice Cooper's Pool House and the skit of like, I had some fucking teenagers in my pool and they drowned or something. And then Zoned Out is like, it opens up with, and while you're there. So it almost thematically is like, Zoned Out is taking place in Alice Cooper's Pool House. I don't know. Maybe I'm just stretching the lyrics here, but I thought that was cool. I think Over Your Dead Body, the transition from Zoned Out into Over Your Dead Body is fucking phenomenal. And then the energy just keeps going. You get into Migraine, which starts out really fast as well. And then you get a crazy vocal delivery, the first verse, with now I'm angry, chop my head off and it nearly bloody killed me. Now I'm rolling in the mud, pushing daisies, blah, blah, blah. Eventually you get into the chorus, which is really catchy as well. And then from that, you get into Breathing Underwater, which is the big, like, emotional ballad of the album. And that song really hit. We couldn't talk about it during our singles episode, because I knew we were going to be talking about it as an album. But Breathing Underwater is probably my favorite single of the month. I don't know. It's hard. There's so many incredible songs from August, but the vocal delivery on I tried breathing underwater to drown out the doubt. I cracked under the pressure and nearly bled out. You said you'd always save me, so where are you now? Feels like I'm falling. I'm dancing while drowning alone. Just the delivery on that, and you can feel it in the instrumentation too. It leans into that emotional side. And you get from that into Amphetamine featuring Julian of Loveless, which is an absolutely incredible feature. By the end of the song, you get all three of them doing harmonies on top of one another, and it's just fucking magical. Julian does a lot of features. The feature on Amphetamine is maybe one of the best features he's ever done. But the other thing about Amphetamine is the way that the song starts out with Hannah's vocal delivery. It's like got a little bit of reverb to it. It's got a bit of an electronic backing, and it just like gave me chills immediately. I was like, you ever like listen to a song within like the first 20 seconds, you think like, oh shit, this is maybe going to be one of those top 10 songs of the year? That's how I felt when I first heard Amphetamine. I don't think it is, but just the way that song opened, it just immediately resonated with me. And then you get a perfect slow fade out transition from Amphetamine that perfectly transitions into Forget Me Not, the album closer, which is just a fucking heartbreaker of a song about Jim's grandfather who has dementia and is like losing his memories and stuff, from what I can tell anyway. And just, it's such a perfect way to end the album. It really has that closer energy. And I think it really is that call to the void. Because when you're dealing with dementia, like losing their memory on the verge of like forgetting everything and on the verge of death, you get lyrics of, I swear this house isn't hollow, but the walls are refusing to speak. Where you go, I can't follow. Gotta let you rest in peace. And then you get in the second chorus, or like later on in the song, before the chorus or during the chorus, you get a slight change up where it's, so into the void you go, I surrender to all my beliefs, because where you go, I can't follow. Gotta let you rest in peace. It's just such a beautiful development in the song. And it's so fitting for the theme of a call to the void, of like dealing with, closing the album on like the thoughts of dealing with death and losing a loved one. It's a heavy topic, but I just have to reiterate how well it closed out the album. I think I fucking love this album. There's so much variety on every single song, and I think they nail it every single time, which is not easy to do. This is an album that only Hot Milk could make. And I think that's the best way that I can leave it.
Perfectly stated.
Thank you. I spent a lot of time with the album. I'd like to think I could.
I was gonna say, how many
thoughts
plays
on
do you have on it now? Who's winning, you or Justin? With Tapestry?
Justin's definitely winning.
I'm
We
curious.
stay winning here on the Justin train.
Justin definitely winning. Justin's Tapestry versus My Hot Milk. Justin definitely wins that. If we're talking about like across the entire year, I maybe win there. But if we're talking about just in August, I think Justin wins.
Justin August did go hard. I will also say, this is really fucking good.
Oh hell yeah!
I really like this album. Some of my favorites: Breathing Underwater, Migraine, Forget Me Not, and Zoned Out. All were really good.
I just remembered something. My last thought on Forget Me Not, but you go first.
I was about to say, I think of like the female vocals bands that I enjoy. I think with time, this may top Primrose Path by Dreamscape.
Hell yeah! Let's fucking go. Yeah, the thing I wanted to mention about Forget Me Not as a closer, it's funny how I mentioned Future Palace as like a reference of a band that like didn't nail the closing songs on as like non-singles from their last album, but their debut album, Escape, the closer of Break Free into My Air, still is like one of my favorite endings to any album ever. And Forget Me Not is the closest I have felt to that since I first heard Escape. And like My Air and Forget Me Not both have that kind of electronic, slow, like synth wavy type beat to it that I just fucking love the delivery of. My Air is one of my favorite closures of all time, and Forget Me Not is one of my favorite closures of the year.